Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are watching Hums Up TV and I am Muneeb Hamid with the news. Veteran Asghar Khan's state funeral held in Rawalpindi. Civil and military leaders attended the state funeral of Air Marshal retired Asghar Khan held at Noor Khan Air Base in Rawalpindi on Saturday. Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, Air Chief Marshal Sohail Aman and General Zubair Mahmood Hayyat, the Chairman Joint Chief of Staff Committee, as well as other serving and retired officials were among those in attendance. His body will be flown to Abbottabad, where a second funeral will be offered for the former Chief of Pakistan Air Force. He will be laid to rest in the Nawanshahr graveyard. A notification issued by the federal government said that the national flag would fly at halt mast Saturday to mark the passing away of the former PAF chief. A leading political figure of yesteryear, Khan passed away at the Combined Military Hospital early on Friday morning after a long illness. He was 96. Khan was admitted to the intensive care unit of the hospital on December 30th after his condition deteriorated. Sources said he was suffering from acute respiratory infection, dementia and ischemic heart disease. He leaves behind his wife Amina Asghar Khan, his son Ali Asghar Khan and 4 siblings. A political crisis brews in Balochistan. Historically, Balochistan's government have been weak, put together as a result of hasty alliances and coalitions. In 2013, when the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz won majority of the seats in the country and the province, they cobbled together a coalition and appointed Dr. Abdul Malik Baloch, a middle-class Baloch nationalist, chief minister of the province, even though his party was in minority. After 2.5 years in office, Dr. Baloch vacated his seat and Sanaullah Zahri, a powerful chieftain and provincial president of the PMLN, became Balochistan's new chief minister as part of the famous. According to a Quetta-based analyst, the then Chief of Southern Command, Lieutenant General Muhammad Nasir Khan Janjua, who is currently the country's national security advisor, had wanted Dr. Baloch to stay on, but Mr. Zahri had opposed it because his party had obtained a majority of the seats in Balochistan. NAB forwards complaints against private medical colleges to Pakistan Medical and Dental Council. The National Accountability Bureau has forwarded complaints received from citizens against private medical and dental colleges to the Pakistan Medical and Dental Council. The complainants alleged that the colleges were asking for donations before giving admissions to students. Moreover, the PMDC said it was considering producing the complainants before the Supreme Court of Pakistan, which has been hearing a suo motu case regarding exorbitant fees charged by the private medical colleges. Higher education issue: every province can take different path on devolution pretext, HEC fears. Higher Education Commission Chairperson Dr. Mukhtar Ahmed says the Punjab government might have stopped its vice-chancellors from participating in the Commission's meetings due to different interpretation of the law. He has fears that every province can take a different direction regarding higher education on the pretext of devolution. We might get to a stage where degrees of province would not be accepted in another, HEC chief warned while addressing a press conference through a video link at the HEC Regional Center on Friday. He added the matter of the higher education devolution after the 18th Amendment had been accepted and it would be decided in the Council of Common Interests. Pakistan's support in fighting terrorism has served United States national security interests, says Izaz Chaudhry. The envoy was responding to the announcement made by Trump administration on Thursday that it was suspending its entire security assistance to Pakistan until it proves its commitment to fight all terrorist groups operating in the region. We are engaged with the U.S. administration on this issue and await further details. It, however, needs to be appreciated that Pakistan has fought the war against terrorism largely from its own resources, which has cost over $120 billion in 15 years. He was of the view that working towards enduring peace required patience and persistence. Emergence of new and more deadly groups such as Daesh in Afghanistan calls for enhancing international cooperation. Sindh High Court rejects Sharjil's appeal for urgent hearing of his bail application. Sindh High Court on Friday turned down an appeal of former Provincial Minister Sharjil Imam Ayman seeking urgent hearing of his post-arrest bail application in a case pertaining to the rupees 5.76 billion corruption in the Sindh Information Department. A two-judge bench headed by Justice Iqbal Ahmed Kalhoro rejected the request for urgent hearing of Mr. Maiman's bail application and maintained that it would be heard on the date earlier fixed by the court's office as there was no need of urgency. His counsel, advocate Sardar Lateef Khoza, requested the bench to hear Mr. Maiman's bail application at an earlier date, telling the judges that the former minister had been provided due medical facilities in jail. $2 billion in military transfer on the line after U.S. suspends aid. U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to freeze aid to Pakistan could affect almost $2 billion worth of assistance, a senior administration official said on Friday, substantially more than first thought, after an announcement designed to force Pakistan's military and intelligence apparatus to cut support for the Taliban and other Islamist groups. The official said that both U.S. military assistance and Afghanistan coalition funding to Islamabad could be suspended. It is approximately $2 billion worth of equipment and coalition support funding that is in play, the official said, on the condition of anonymity. After more than a decade of simmering U.S. anger at links between Islamabad and the Taliban and the Haqqani network, a Taliban affiliate, President Donald Trump is trying to draw a line on the sand. On the host is almost $1 billion of U.S. military equipment that has allowed Pakistan access to advanced military technology, but also funding that is meant to pay Pakistan for helping get U.S. and NATO material into Afghanistan. Russia accuses United States of interfering in Iran. Russia accused the United States on Friday of interfering in Iranian affairs as the UN Security Council prepared to hold a meeting at Washington's request on deadly protests in Iran. The United States continues to interfere both openly and covertly in the internal affairs of other countries. This is how we view the American initiative to convene the UN Security Council over a situation that is of purely national concern in Iran. Ryabkov accused Washington of directly attacking the sovereignty of other states under the pretext of being concerned about democracy and human rights. A total of 21 people have died and hundreds have been arrested since December 28 as protests over economic woes turned against the Iranian regime as a whole, with attacks on government buildings and police stations. North Korea accepts Olympics talks offer, says South Korea. North Korea has accepted an offer to attend high-level talks next week, South Korean officials have said. The meeting on 9 January will focus on finding a way for North Korean athletes to attend the Winter Olympic Games in South Korea in February. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said this week that sending a delegation to the Games would be a good opportunity to show unity of the people. The meeting is expected to be held at Panmunjom on the border. These will be the first high-level talks between Koreas have had since December 2015. It is not yet clear who will be attending. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in has previously said he sees the Winter Olympics as a groundbreaking chance to improve relations between the Koreas, two countries still technically at war. Australian warship makes second big drugs bust in Arabian Sea. An Australian warship has made its second large drugs bust in the Arabian Sea within a week, seizing 3.5 tons of hashish with an estimated street value of $142 million, officials said on Friday. It followed HMAS Warramunga, making an 8-ton hashish haul in late December during maneuvers in the area as part of the Combined Maritime Forces naval partnership. The latest seizure occurred on January 3rd with support from a British Royal Navy helicopter with crew from the frigate boarding a suspect vessel in international waters. HMAS Warramunga commanding officer Dugas Sileland said it was a complex night operation. Dollar strengthens in curb trade, stable in interbank. The dollar was traded at rupees 112 in the open market on Friday, setting a record against the local currency, although the rate in the interbank market remained almost unchanged all week. Currency dealers said multiple factors are affecting the exchange rate, which has come under pressure following soaring Pak-US relations during the last couple of months. Tensions with the United States factored in the move, according to some currency dealers, but shortages of the greenback in the currency markets also had other drivers. We sold dollar at rupees 112 at the end of closing hour of the market, and it may go further high if the shortage of dollars persists, said Zafar Paracha, Secretary, Exchange Companies Association of Pakistan. Kiwis win first ODI under Duckworth Lewis after Pakistan's tumble in the rain. New Zealand won the first one-day international against Pakistan with a 61-run lead under the Duckworth-Lewis method as the match was abandoned on Saturday. Pakistan had scored 166 runs at a loss of 6 wickets as they had a hard time trying to chase the daunting 316-run target set by the Kiwis before rain intervened and halted play. As the first 5 wickets tumbled within 16 overs, young opener Fakhar Zaman held fort and was 82 runs away from a century when rain set in during the 31st over of the game. Earlier, after Pakistan won the toss and asked the opponents to bat first, Kane Williamson overcame blusterily conditions to score a century and lead New Zealand to an imposing total of 315 for 7. And now the weather forecast for next 24 hours. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country. Dense foggy conditions are likely to prevail over plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh during night and morning hours. That's all for now. For more news and updates, keep watching Hums Up TV. Take care. Please subscribe to Hums Up TV and hit the notification icon on the screen to get the latest updates of our channel. Thank you for watching Hums Up TV.